Hey guys, welcome back to another Clash Royale video, and today we're talking about the next round of balance changes coming up soon to Clash Royale. As you guys know, Season 4 of Clash Royale is just around the corner, coming out on Monday, bringing about a whole new balance update as well, and I might have found some official information today on a couple of cards being changed in the Monday balance update. And as you guys know, it will include the much anticipated Witch Rework, which we have no idea what the rework actually is yet, but I might have found something today that offers a bit of information on what the Witch Rework is actually going to be. So over here, guys, is the Clash Royale animation reveal for the Elixir Golem card. And you might have missed this near the end of the video. It's very easy to miss. But near the end of the animation reveal over here, right at the end right here, guys, they show a little image which offers potentially a sneak peek at the new arena as well. But if you pay close attention right here to this witch, which is currently behind the Elixir Golem right here, I'm going to play it right now for you guys, but just pay very close attention to what happens with that witch right here. So right here, guys, play. Watch the witch very closely. It's very slow motion. It zooms out. But did you guys see it? Did you guys see it? It might be very hard to see. So I'm going to go ahead and play it one more time for you guys. And I'm going to zoom in the screen right here for you so you guys can hopefully see it better. But just pay attention to what happens around that witch. All right? I'll do it one more time for you guys. Maybe I'll slow this one down slow motion. But this is very interesting over here. So watch the witch one more time here, guys. Did you guys see it? All right. So do you think that is a teaser of the Witch Rework coming out? If you guys didn't see it, basically the witch appeared to be spawning skeletons around her instead of in front of her, which could be a pretty big change. Because as it is right now, one of the most annoying things with that witch is if you have like a melee unit attacking her, she can spawn skeletons in front of her and it'll push the melee unit back and force it to retarget. But I'm thinking if they kind of spawn around her like that, that won't happen. But obviously this is speculation based upon this image right here. Also, if you missed this earlier on, guys, this reveal, I think we have our sneak peek at the tower skin for Season 4 of Clash Royale, as well as the new arena right here as well, which I think looks phenomenal. Where is it? Right here. Like, that is a pretty cool looking arena, if that is a Season 4 arena as well, guys. But there is kind of maybe our first teaser of the new Witch Rework. What do you think it is? Do you think that is it, or do you think that's just something else? What do you guys think? So anyways, that's the Witch Rework over there, guys. A few kind of different on the balance update. We know for sure that the Fisherman will be nerfed in the October balance update. It has been confirmed by Seth on Twitter. So Fisherman nerf is confirmed. There is no plan to nerf Executioner in the October balance update as well, which I'm pretty happy to see. Executioner is kind of a cool card right now. I think most people are concerned that if you nerf Fisherman, then Executioner might be a bit too OP, but they have no plans to nerf Executioner right now. So the next card here, guys, is the Bowler. I'm not too sure if I mentioned this before or not, but they had shared an idea of a Bowler rework on Twitter. Seth did earlier on this month, September 14th to be exact. And he makes it very clear that this is not final and may never happen. But the idea here is to increase the cost of the Bowler from 5 Elixir to 6 Elixir, and in return, increase his health by 25% to 35%, and then increase the damage he does to buildings by 50% to 100%. So potentially double damage versus buildings, more health, and a 1 more elixir cost, which I think is a fantastic idea. I absolutely love it because number one, it would counter Mortar and Expo pretty good, but it would also just make it more of an offensive card and less of a annoyingly defensive card, which I am definitely a huge fan of. So potentially a rework idea for the Bowler right there. And then right here, he mentions the Expo, and he says, if it turns out that Expo is the only deck that abuses tiebreakers, because right now everyone's kind of concerned about tiebreakers, then they'll probably roll out a change balancing Expo instead of removing the tiebreakers. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think of Expo? You guys know how I think, but what do you guys think? Do you think it's a problem card right now, or do you think it's fine? So that is, guys, the official kind of information that I found online for Season 4 balance update. Fisherman nerf confirmed, no Executioner nerf. Bowler rework, maybe not. We'll kind of see how it goes. And then this is what he has to say with the Expo right here. And then obviously we saw the Witch right here. So with that being said, I now kind of want to dive in and shift focus to my personal balance update wish list. All the cards that I want to see buffed or nerfed in the Season 4 balance update. And as always, guys, feel free to leave your feedback on my list down below in those comments. If you think I'm stupid, if you think the idea or my list sucks, feel free to let me know. So right here, guys, is the website Royale API. It lists all of the current card stats in Clash Royale in Grand Challenges. We have to use Grand Challenge stats because Grand Challenge is tourney standard, so you have equal level gameplay. But the first card on my list, guys, is Fisherman. I know it's basically confirmed right now, but Fisherman, it just needs a bit of a nerf. I would think maybe a slight range reduction because, let's be real, guys, the range of the Fisherman is absolutely insane. But maybe just a slight nerf to that Fisherman to help rein it in. It currently has the single highest use rate and a very high win rate. It's just absolutely OP. No troop card should be more popular than all of the small spells because there's only like, what, 4 small spells in the game. So they should all basically have higher use rate than this card right now. So Fisherman, I think, could use a bit of a nerf. The next card, guys, you guys already know, is the Expo. I absolutely despise that card, and I wanted to get a fat nerf in the next bounce update, guys, because as it is on ladder right now, like, I face Expo so much. It's such a defensive card overall, and it's so frustrating to face against. The two ideas that I have for Expo, number one is to reduce the lifetime from 40 seconds to 30 seconds so it loses health faster and doesn't survive as long, and that way your opponent can't stack as many Expos on defense. But to compensate, give it a slight DPS boost as well, so it does more damage when it is alive. So that's idea number one for nerfing the Expo. Idea two here is to make the hitbox bigger for the Expo. This is a pretty interesting idea, but I've often noticed a lot with that Expo that it rarely gets targeted. Like, you could have archers or skeletons like one tile away, and they always get targeted first versus the Expo. And also, if you use like an Expo Tesla drop, often if you use Hog Rider, for example, it'll still go to the Tesla, even though visually it looks further away. So I feel like making the hitbox bigger for an Expo could be a pretty interesting idea for how to nerf it, because things would kind of lock onto it easier than it is right now. Because it's kind of awkward when you have a troop like one tile away and your unit targets that instead of the Expo, because visually it looks right next to the Expo. So those are my two ideas, guys, for touching the Expo. Let me know what you think down below, if you agree or disagree. That is what I'm looking for. Now, one card that I kind of want to ask you guys about, it's not really on my list, but I hear it mentioned a lot, and that is the Furnace. I see a lot of people ask me my opinion on Furnace, so I want to ask you guys, what do you think of Furnace? Is it too strong? Does it need a nerf? It currently is the single highest used building card in the game in Grand Challenges in Clash Royale. 12% use rate, 54% win rate, which are pretty strong numbers for a building card. So do you guys think Furnace needs a nerf, or do you think it's fine the way it is? Feel free to let me know, guys, down below as well. But that is it for my nerf list. Let's go ahead here, guys, and jump into my buff list. The first card that I want to see buffed is the Giant. I mentioned a lot of these cards in my recent video with CWA, where we discussed balance changes with him and Bufferetti. If you missed that video, go ahead and watch it, guys. It's a ton of fun. But the Giant got nerfed around this time last year by 2% less health. I think that nerf kind of came out of nowhere at the time, and it was never reverted. So I would like to see the Giant get his 2% health back, especially because the Fisherman is so popular and does so well versus Giant. I definitely think a slight buff for Giant could be justified. I also think the Night Witch could use a bit of a rework as well. This is an idea that was initially mentioned by my friend CWA in that video that I did with him recently, but he mentioned a Night Witch rework, and it made a lot of sense to me, because Night Witch, like, you only ever see her in that one Golem deck, that one Golem Night Witch beatdown, which honestly isn't even that good right now. Like, Golem has 37% win rate. Night Witch has 37% win rate, guys. So, I definitely think a bit of a rework of the Night Witch could be good. Just because, like, if you just flat out buff her, you might make that Golem Night Witch deck too OP. So that's just kind of a random, interesting idea right there. Next card, guys, is my Royal Recruits. I think they need a 2% damage buff. Just a slight nudge to make them more popular. Because right now they're sitting at a 2% use rate. And I feel like they need a little bit more damage to make them worth their 7 elixir cost. Obviously, I don't want them being too overpowered, which is why I only suggest a slight 2% damage buff. But they are on my buff wish list. Also, the bowler. I really like that rework idea that was shared by Seth over on Twitter, where he deals more damage to buildings. I think that's a perfect idea to make the bowler more of an offensive card and less of a defensive card. Because the number one idea that I hear for bowler is to make it knock back the princes. But the problem with that is you make it more defensive, and you kind of run into a similar problem as the Expo, where you kind of promote slow defensive gameplay, and then your battles last so long, and it becomes more boring. I prefer making the card more offensive than making it more defensive. So I kind of want to see that idea implemented for the bowler rework. Also, bomber, give it death damage. I think it's a kind of a cool idea to buff that bomber. Same thing with the wall breakers. I think wall breakers, I mean, it's time. It's almost 2020 here, and the wall breakers have never been in the meta, and they were introduced in February of this year, and they're an epic card as well. I honestly feel like we're at the point in Clash Royale right now where we have 95 cards, almost 100 cards in the game, and I feel like you already have enough cards down here, which I call the card graveyard, where cards kind of go down to kind of just live the rest of their days and not really be viable. The wall breakers have been in here for a while. Considering there are so many cards already in here, I don't see the point of adding new cards into the game if they aren't going to be impactful, which I've mentioned previously before. So just, give the wall breakers that buff, even if they are too OP, just nerf them the next month afterwards to kind of bring them down in line, but give them a fat buff. I think it's just time. Enough of this kind of like slight nudge, give them a fat buff. If they are too OP, then you can rein it back afterwards. One other card that I kind of want to briefly mention is the Electro Dragon. I think it could use a slight buff as well, maybe. The E-Dragon, I only really ever see it used in, like, Golem decks, I guess. Obviously, Golem isn't popular right now because of the Fisherman being too popular, and Fisherman just absolutely destroys the Golem. The Fisherman destroys Golem more so than it destroys Giant, which is why the Golem is more affected by the Fisherman being popular. But I think if they nerf Fisherman, if it isn't as popular, we could see a rise in Golem win rates and use rates, maybe even a rise in E-Dragon. But I just feel like E-Dragon could use a slight boost as well to make it more competitive in the meta. But that's basically the end of my list, guys. That's the end of my wish list. We have nerf Fisherman, we have nerf Expo, we have buff the Giant, buff the Night Witch, buff the Royal Recruits, buff the E-Dragon, buff the Bowler, buff the Bomber, buff the Wall Breakers. I think is the end of my list. And then I want to ask you guys about Expo. What do you think of Expo? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's broken? What do you think of Furnace? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's broken? Those two cards, leave your feedback down below, or anything else on my list. Do you hate it? Do you like it? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm a nub? Feel free to let me know, guys, as well in those comments down below. And just kind of summarize here before we finish the video off. Right here is the Witch. What do you guys think? Take a look one more time. No. What do you guys think? It's pretty interesting. Fisherman nerf confirmed. Executioner no nerf. Bowler redesign idea right there. And then the expo discussion as well. So anyways, guys, that is the end of the video. Season 4 of Clash Royale is coming out on Monday, October the 7th. So all shall be revealed hopefully pretty soon. But yeah, that's the end. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe to my Clash Royale content. Thank you so much for watching. We shall see you in the next one.